What's up, guys? Today I want to talk to you about the importance of staying healthy and not neglecting your health even when you're bulking. I've actually wanted to do this video because of my client recently who's actually supposed to be cutting and ended up not hitting his calories, but he hasn't hit them by eating clean, he's eaten them by eating all sorts of shit. So the reason people do it is because they think they can get away with it. They think, oh, I'm on a bulk now. I don't need to care about my calories. I'm building muscle, so I can just eat whatever I want. And as long as I train hard, I will put on some size. And there is some truth to that. You will put on muscle if you're in calorie surplus and you're progressive overloaded. But you're not going to optimize muscle growth. And you're not going to optimize muscle growth because the lack of discipline in your diet carries over to your training. You end up not training as hard, being less motivated to train, and you end up with inconsistent energy levels because your sugar levels are up and down constantly. You get a big spike when you eat unhealthy food and then a big crash later on. And if you train in the evening, especially if you train in the evening, you'll notice this more. You'll have completely inconsistent energy levels because you've been eating like absolute shit. The issue is there's no metric for this. There's no metric for the gains you didn't make. The only way to actually measure the difference would be for you yourself to do a bulk whilst eating clean and then a bulk whilst eating dirty and then comparing the two. And in fact, the people who do that always say to eat clean. And that's why you get people on the internet like me telling you to eat clean because this one is better. But you'll never know that this one's better if you only have a dirty bulk. There's other reasons why you should eat clean whilst even while bulking that are less obvious. And that is because you can actually bulk for longer. So when you eat clean, the foods you eat don't hold water. Processed foods hold water and they give you that watery, bloated look, which is not a good look. And that watery look means that you end up looking worse, which gives you a greater desire to cut, so you don't run your bulk for as long. Second of all, you straight up just don't have the best composition, so you'll store more of your weight as fat than you will do as muscle. So you actually can't get to that same body fat percent. Oh, it's quicker to get to the same body fat percentage, which means you can't bulk for as long. Meaning that if you the less time you spend in a surplus, again, the less muscle you'll grow. The last reasons are also fairly superficial, but main reason we go to the gym is to improve our looks. Now, not even just body composition, like in the face and how you feel about yourself. When you eat these crap foods all the time, consistently eating poor foods, processed foods, and sugar, you end up with this. You end up with poor skin. Some people end up more bloated. I end up more bloated. Some people get like a puffy face, and you end up with spots. And that's the opposite reason to why we started the gym. In fact, a lot of people like myself started the gym to improve the way you look for cosmetic reasons and to obviously try and attract members of the opposite sex or whatever you're into. And if you're constantly eating crappy foods, this literally gives you the opposite effect of what you want, regardless of your physique at the moment. So, what should a good diet look like when bulking? Well, to be honest, it should be the exact same as when you're cutting. You should be eating predominantly whole foods. Now, if you're one of those guys who struggles to get calories in while bulking, I mean, you can always just double up on the rice and oats. They go down really easy. Mixing in things like kidney beans and lentils into the rice also goes down really easy. If you're bored of eating like a big bowl of rice, you can mix in some lentils or kidney beans or peas for the same volume, getting also more calories. I also think dates are completely overlooked while bulking. Like one of those tiny little dates, about that big, they're like 70 calories per date. If you could just easily eat three of them without even trying, there's 200 calories you just added. Then for fats, you've got salmon, dark chocolate, nuts, whole foods, peanut butter. All of those are so easy to get into your diet that it really shouldn't be an issue to bulk whilst on clean foods. I mean, if you really need to, you can also pull back on the green vegetables. Not saying cut it out completely, but if you, rather than having a big bowl of broccoli, if you just have like a smaller portion of broccoli to get more rice and lentils in, then that's also fine. That's sometimes what I need to do to get the calories in. But at the end of the day, when you eat good, you feel good about yourself, and that's just That's just a fact. So to round off the video, when you eat clean, you feel good about yourself and you look better, which is exactly why we do this in the first place. You can also bulk for longer, which is also why we're doing this, to build muscle. The longer you can bulk, the more muscle you can build. So it ends up being a completely win-win scenario for eating clean, and you have no regrets. Anyone who is eating clean consistently, and I'm not talking like 100% clean, I'm talking like 80-90% clean with a little bit of treat, never regrets it. Never regrets it. They say they live by eating clean. In fact, they're the sort of people who actually avoid sugar for the reasons that they notice the effects of sugar on the body and the inconsistent energy levels. So yeah, the only way to find out is to do it for yourself. And I hope this video inspires you. If you're already eating clean, brilliant. If not, I hope it helps, and I'll see you in the next video.